Hey everyone, my name is Anna Yosin, and in today's video, I'm talking about what Hatha Yoga is. So, what is Hatha Yoga compared to Vinyasa or some of the other styles? So, I'm talking specifically about Hatha. It is a tradition that dates back about 1,000 years that is specifically breath-based movement. So, Hatha, let's look at what that actually means. Ha means ha means sun, ta means moon. So hatha, or we say with the th, hatha yoga means sun moon. Now, conceptually, that is talking about the polar opposites. So sun would be the masculine, moon would be the feminine, sun would be the light or the heat, moon would be the dark or the cold, right? So we have these polar opposites, the masculine, the feminine, the solar, the cosmic, versus the moon is more associated with the earth, and the earthly, the mother earth versus father son sort of ideas. And so in yoga, you balance out those two polar energies, specifically in Hatha Yoga, like conceptually, that's what we're talking about. So you think of yoke. What is a yoke? It's usually like that pole that people can carry on their backs. They've got something on this side and something on that side, and it needs to be balanced. Otherwise, you're going to walk crooked, right? So we have on one end of that the sun, one end of that the moon, the hatha, and the yoke is your yoga practice. Now, in order to unite those polar opposites, we use the breath, and specifically the ujjayi breath in the hatha yoga practice. And so when you're breathing, you want to think about breathing in, and there's this beautiful melding and mixture and combining of those two polar energies within the inhale, with the exhale, when you're receiving and when you're giving. So, right, when we think about above the cosmic energies, the solar energies, the sun, the heat, the masculine, father, son, all of that, we're breathing that in on the inhale. So we're receiving that masculine energy. The yin is receiving the yang, right? And we're breathing in from above. So we usually say open up the top of the lungs, then the middle, and then the bottom of the lungs. So we're expanding from the top, middle to bottom. That also helps our posture. And so as we're breathing in, we're receiving those solar energies, those masculine energies, the active energies. And then we hold that in our heart. So that's sort of like the center point. If we're talking about the chakras, there's 7 chakras, that's right in the middle. So we're breathing in these more masculine energies, we're receiving that. But then as we breathe out, we're giving, sort of like in a masculine way, we're giving the passive energies. So we're receiving the masculine, but then we give the feminine. And so it's this beautiful combination. So we breathe out from below. So we push the air out from the bottom of the lungs, the middle of the lungs, the top of the lungs, until we breathe out all the air that we can. So we're giving that energy, and that's the energy of the earth, the moon, the feminine, mother earth, we say. And so it's this beautiful combination and constant melding, kind of like the ocean waves going back and forth, always giving and receiving. So we're receiving this solar energy, we're giving this lunar energy or this earthly energy, and it's this constant give and take of the two polar opposite energies. And the idea of that is that it is initiated by the breath. So when we're doing a yoga pose, the movement, it's always initiated by the breath in the hatha practice. So we begin the breath, then we do the movement, then we stop the movement, and then we end the breath before we begin the next situation. So very, very simple. You can do this practice with me. We're going to bring the hands to the heart to start with. We begin the inhale, then initiate the motion, lifting up. We stop the motion, and then we stop the inhale. We begin the exhale, begin the motion back, this coming and going. We stop the motion, and then we stop the exhale before repeating that or going into the next move. So the idea is that you're always enveloping the movement within the breath. The breath should start and finish after the movement. And when we inhale, we're expanding. So that's also a blending of this contraction, this expansion and contraction versus giving and receiving the breath and those energies. So we're reaching up, we're expanding, but yet we're receiving that breath at the same time. So it's this constant yin yang, beautiful dance of it. And the idea in the Hatha practice is that the breath is the movement. So the breath actually, like, it's not only initiating the movement, it's not influencing the movement, but it actually is the movement. And the movement then becomes this dance with the breath, and they become inseparable. So it's this really, really beautiful combination of breath and movement when we're sort of blending and mixing these polar opposites. And then we want to use it or be aware of centering that in our heart center, right? So again, with the chakras, when we're talking about the lower three chakras, they're generally associated with the feminine, with the earthly, with the lunar. And when we're talking about the upper three chakras, the throat, the third eye, the crown, those are associated with the sun, the cosmic, the solar energies, the masculine versus the feminine. And so we always join the masculine and the feminine energies, that yin and the yang, the giving, the receiving, the active, the passive, the physical, the non-physical, however you want to call it, dark, light, cold, hot, the polar opposites. Through the breath is the mechanism, but we want to center that in the heart center. So when we think about all of that, just by doing this, like that one little thing encompasses all of that, which is actually really, really cool and very, very fun to think about. So anytime you're simply breathing, or if you're in a Hatha practice or class where they're doing one pose at a time and you're like, oh, I want to do more, I want to like do a vinyasa, I want to do this whole flow and this sequence, remember that the simplicity, like there's so much within the simplicity of one single motion with the breath. And when you think about that, like it's actually pretty mind-blowing. And I want to just say that when you do that, you'll never get bored. You're not going to be bored because there's so much to, it's like when you take a drop of blood and you put it under a microscope, there's so much there, right? It's the simplicity of these little things that once you start to delve into it, it becomes this huge, complex universe. And I encourage you to just be okay with the simple. Explore the simple, explore the simplicity, and always, always, always come back to your breath. So if you find yourself in practice within like a yoga practice on the mat or a workout or just in life in general, that you're holding your breath or your breath is disconnected to your movement, like if you're walking and you're like, and then all of a sudden your same arm is going with your same leg or whatever, you're disconnecting from it, just come back to your breath. Become aware of your breath, and your breath will not only influence your movement, but it will become the movement. And then when that becomes the movement, it becomes this beautiful dance of life. And that's when you find the flow. That's when you find the zone. That's when you understand more of the wisdom of the universe. That then is super, super exciting. And you access it all through the breath, through something very, very simple. So with that being said, my challenge for you today is to take a couple minutes to do one motion, whatever that is, whether it's even just the hands to the heart, bringing it up, whether that's to do, warrior 2, where you're just bending one knee and then bring it back up. So remember, we want to inhale on the expansion and then exhale on the contraction. We're coming back. And so just to even do that, like something, some sort of little move, just for a couple minutes, and make sure you even it out both sides if you're doing different sides. And just see what comes up for you. Just without judging it, without, and just see what comes up, how you feel after it, any thoughts that might pop up through that. So that's my challenge for you today, specifically with the Hatha practice and the idea of yin yang, those two polar opposites, uniting the polar opposites with the breath through the movement in the heart. Whew, I know it's a lot, but it's very, very beautiful, profound, and amazing. So that being said, I wish you much love and light. I wish you blessings and blessings, and namaste.